Welcome back to the channel. Futureverse partners galore, DeFi ramps up on the Root network, and are you ready for the Readyverse? This is Into the Futureverse. Now smash that like button and let's get into it. Okay, wow, it's been a crazy few months since my last update, so let's rip straight into things. Gods and Goblins have launched a beta version of the very first stream-to-play game, Grumble. Hosted by the Marketplace, Grumble is an auto battler, where 100 goblins battle it out in a fight to the death. The higher ranked goblins in each battle are rewarded with the non-tradable junk token, which can be used to mint more goblins. No doubt junk will provide further utility in due course. Grumble is a fun casual game, and you can even pay some root tokens to play God, and rain down lightning or meteor strikes on unsuspecting battling goblins. In fact, that's exactly what you need to do for Futureverse Quest 7. Pay some root to trigger a Play God event in-game to complete the quest, and you don't even need to hold a goblin to participate. The quest ends on the 27th of February. Keep in mind that the game is in early beta and we can expect the game to evolve and improve a lot over time. Who knows, maybe in future we'll be able to integrate some ASM brains to train our goblin horde to become more skillful warriors. Quest 5 introduced two new decentralized exchanges on the Root network, Dexter and Moai. Dexter is made by the team behind Mark and utilizes the native in-chain DEX within the Root network, providing a smooth UI and cheap transaction fees, while Moai aims to be a multi-chain DEX and leverages the EVM compatibility within the Root network. Jeff from Moai had this to say about his product.
My name is Jeff and I'm from Moai Finance. Moai Finance is basically a multi-chain DEX and a DeFi, strategically focused XRP ecosystem. So the problem that we wanted to tackle was the lack of utility that XRP has. Yeah, we wanted to leverage this XRP as a DeFi asset and bring that XRP to the mainstream DeFi level so that we can utilize XRP in a better way. The first chain that we are supporting right now is a Futureverse, the Root network. And this is a METAVERSE and an AI chain that also uses XRP as its gas fee. And we are also planning on implementing the AMM DAX on XRPL as the amendment is passed.
And Moai currently has an incentivized DeFi farming event. The Voyage to the Future campaign allows XRP liquidity provider to earn some of the Moai governance token and additional root incentives. Keep in mind though, providing XRP liquidity into a liquidity pool is subject to impermanent loss, meaning you can end up with less XRP tokens than you started with. So make sure you read the doc and understand the risks before you participate. The campaign has gone so well that it brought in over $1.5 million of liquidity in just the first 48 hours. And we can expect to see more DeFi activations roll out on the Root network, especially in light of its recent partnership between Catalyze and Neopin. Catalyze itself was announced as a Futureverse partner late last year. Catalyze Research is a South Korean-based Web3 consultancy firm that specializes in helping Web3 founders meet their roadmaps and achieve their long-term vision. And Catalyze has already partnered with existing big players such as the Avalanche blockchain, Binance, and Ripple Labs. And their co-founder Josh Kim dropped this extensive research paper on the Futureverse. Check the link in the details for the full report. But in the meantime, here's a few quotes I liked. Futureverse is committed to creating an environment where users can freely create contents and apps within the metaverse. Their core approach simplifies the user experience and makes creation tools more intuitive, thus lowering the technical threshold. This empowers users to express their creativity within the metaverse and to convert their creations into economic value, offering tangible opportunities. The reason why I refer to the Futureverse as a full spectrum metaverse company is because it indeed offers an impressive array of products and services that support nearly all conceivable endeavors for users and creators within the metaverse. Futureverse's ecosystem can be broadly categorized into three categories. 1. Blockchain infrastructure. 2. Tools for content and software development. And 3. Services. And the engagement with Catalyze is already paying dividends, with their announced Futureverse partnership with Neopin. Neopin is a decentralized crypto banking service allowing users to provide liquidity, swap, lend, borrow, and stake their crypto tokens securely, right from an easy-to-use smartphone app. Maybe we'll see some root staking services live on the Neopin app shortly. One unique and interesting selling point of Neopin is their work in the regulatory compliance space. They were selected to join the innovation program of the United Arab Emirates, working with the UAE government directly to develop DeFi regulatory framework and expand services based on it globally. Neopin is also deeply rooted into the Clayton and Fincher blockchains, the two leading blockchains for South Korea and Japan respectively. And Clayton and Fincher themselves are actually merging to form a Web3 Asian powerhouse. Jeff from Moai made this salient comment about the Neopin deal. The ecosystem is growing fast. Neopin is an affiliate company of NeoWiz, which is one of the biggest gaming companies in Korea. Welcome Neopin to the marvelous Futureverse ecosystem. With that comment in mind, the key takeaway from the Medium article announcing the Neopin deal is this: onboarding Neopin's game and content partners to the global NFT-based metaverse operated by Futureverse. And Fincher, as it turns out, has just partnered up with Sega. Maybe this Shara fingernail alpha from November 2022 relates to Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog. As speculated on this channel at the time, are these golden rings representative of those that we saw in the classic Sega video game, Sonic the Hedgehog? Imagine that, a collaboration with the iconic gaming studio Sega. It's making me quite nostalgic just thinking about it. Could you imagine Sonic the Hedgehog with play and earn functionality built in, where the earn side is derived from the actual usage of a layer 1 blockchain, the root network, and not just an inflationary token? It has the potential to be game-changing. It seems that the Futureverse's partnerships with Tencent, Alibaba, Catalyze, and now Neopin hold it in good stead with being at the forefront of the Asian markets, both for retail participants, infrastructure, and access to dev talent. And it was also recently revealed that the Futureverse has opened up an office in Japan. The launch of the Swappables engine is now live for the Party Bear collection. Impressively, this allows bears to be split up into each of its accessories and traits into individual tradable parts, and then rebundled back to form your ultimate bear. This process made up of Futureverse Quest 6, with the rewards due to be dropped shortly. Over time, we can expect expanded capability around the Swappables, and Shara Senderoff used it as an example of the importance of metaverse interoperability.
Everyone builds, and everything is interoperable by way of all the technology underneath. So Disney might have an experience that is separate from Warner Brothers. Their IP might exist in a particular way where they can focus entirely around a particular property, but someone could go in and buy an avatar or a car or an article of clothing, and then they could leave and take it into another area or another world, and it simply serves as marketing, just like it does in the real world. If I'm wearing a Disney sweatshirt and someone walks by me on the street, they're like, oh yeah, I wanted to watch Frozen because you were wearing a Frozen sweatshirt. So that's the example of the true promise that Ernie Klein outlined in Ready Player One is the open metaverse, where you still have control over your IP, you still get to make creative decisions that respect the way you own that property, but it's all interconnected in a way that adds value to everyone.
Shara was also a guest at the recent CES 2024 conference and gave a presentation around a key piece of tech owned and patented by the Futureverse: donuts.
Consumers are going to start understanding that they can have control over their data, their finances. They're already mistrusting so much of the world when they're going to say, you know what, I don't trust the banks and the governments. I want things in my control. I want to control my data. I want to say you can have it and you can't have it. They're going to say, you know what, I haven't had any choices online. I don't have the ability to think. I go to a place and Facebook owns, Meta owns all of my images. Those are all of our faces. They're taking everything. Right now, today, we don't have any choice, but we will. We will when we take control of our assets and our finances and all the things that we can have back because of the Web3 technology you just mentioned. It will all then be in our control. Then we'll say to brands, hey, you want to know who I am? Because right now I've shown up in the metaverse as a bunny or a bear or a character from one of my favorite movies. So you have no idea how old I am, what gender I am. You don't know anything about what I like. If you want to know, you have to give me something in exchange. And that's where the playing field is going to really get level. And so that's the reason that brands have to pay attention, because we're going from a cookieless future, which we're in now, and one of the tech products that we've patented and built is something called a donut. It's a decentralized cookie. Donuts is where I can tell you as a brand that I'm willing to give you information about myself and you could give me something back. And so this is the reason why in 2027, 2028, 2029, first-party data, third-party data, all of the cookies are gone, and we're in a totally different situation as brands where we can't steal from the consumers anymore. We can't force them to think what we want them to think. We actually have to be somewhat human, and we have to give them something of value to get something of value in return.
Okay, next up, a second activation has spun up out of the agreement with the Authentic Brands Group, co-owned by Shaquille O'Neal, and in 2024 we can expect to see the launch of Reebok Impact. The partnership aims to develop numerous AI and immersive virtual gaming experiences, designed to demonstrate that life is not about your sneakers, it's about what you do while you wear them. It's going to be really interesting to see this activation take place, and how the physical ties into the digital. Maybe we'll see an accompanying smartphone app that leverages the GPS and camera capability and see some AR experiences or games, as seen with Jadu or Pokemon Go, or maybe even some move to earn activations like Steppen. Either way, it's one sure to keep an eye on. Okay, next up, a shout out to community members Shay, Tybo and Schiller for their work on Root Radio, a newly formed regular Twitter X space. On this week's episode, they interviewed David McDonald and Nissa Waters on a new venture that's partnered with the Futureverse, Being AI. Being AI are an AI-based consultancy, transformation and startup accelerator and research and development firm that has several key players from the Altered State machine on board already. And here's what David had to say about his new venture.
So the obvious choice was Chief Innovation Officer for me. Within Futureverse, I built a team around innovating, around understanding and building sort of the next generation of technology. And that team has produced a lot of great work over the past year. And I think about 6 patents have come out of that team alone. And specifically the area of AI, you've seen things like Gen has come out of that, and we've got a whole bunch of other new stuff coming up that'll start to sort of leak into the broader Futureverse ecosystem that have come out of the innovation team. During that time, I've also seen a massive gap in the market. One thing we need to do to get mass adoption is that we need the corporate world on board. You know, it's not just about onboarding, people who enjoy entertainment products. And to do that, traditionally you use consulting services like Deloitte and Accenture. Those companies, in my opinion, are so far behind in the AI space and the Web3 space. So I don't see them going out and promoting Futureverse platform and tools to the enterprise and corporate world at all. So somebody needs to step in and fill that gap, and that's where sort of Being, whether it's focus on new technologies and artificial intelligence, can come in and fill those gaps. So that's why I've assembled this team, this organization. The idea is to create an ecosystem around that approach. So first of all, we get good at transforming businesses, and then we can start to create an ecosystem around how we transform businesses and invest in companies that we can do digital transformation with. When you go and do a consulting arrangement, you recommend a whole bunch of changes that a company needs to do on the technology side. They might implement 5% of that or 20% of that, and sort of just dip their toes in the water and make small incremental changes. When you own a company or you invest in a company at a significant amount, you can go in and say, okay, no, we need to do all of these things. You need to do 90% of these recommendations to transform your business, and you need to do it now. So having that ecosystem will enable us to make those big changes and make those big plays in the enterprise and corporate space.
Interestingly, Being AI is being acquired by another firm, Ascension Capital, in a roll-up of sorts in what's called a reverse listing, and subject to shareholder approval, will be tradable on the New Zealand Stock Exchange under a new ticker, BAI. Being and its portfolio companies were valued at 45 million New Zealand dollars, with another $35 million available based on the performance of the parent company ACE. The announcement around the proposed M&A shed even more light on the undertaking. One of the portfolio companies set to be transformed by Being AI is Age Limited. Age is a purpose-built boutique school that offers both physical and virtual teaching. Their teachers team up with innovators and inspirational business people to mentor students on projects that stretch well beyond the 4 walls of the classroom, and they are set to be pioneers in AI augmented education. Age School will form a proof of concept business on how AI and exponential technologies can be used to help transform existing businesses. Much like how in-house Futureverse projects like Grumble or Gen AI are examples of the Futureverse tech stack in action. It's a very clever model to follow. Here's a comment from David McDonald around the proposed merger and the value proposition of Being AI. Being Consultants Limited is a cornerstone of our operations, equipped with a world-class AI team from our partnership with Futureverse, and ready to help business step confidently into a digital-first future. We're not just consultants, we're partners in transformation. Our team understands the challenges and opportunities that come with integrating AI into business operations. We work closely with our clients to provide tailored, practical AI solutions that propel them ahead of the curve, ensuring they're not only participants in the digital revolution, but also leaders in defining it. In partnering with us, companies get more than just consulting. They get a pathway to transform and thrive in an increasingly connected and digital world. And arguably, the biggest Futureverse partnership yet was finally announced, and the launch of Readyverse Studios was revealed. Teaming up with Dan Farrar and Ernest Klein, the producer and author of the Ready Player One film and book, Readyverse Studios is poised to bring the Oasis to life. Warner Brothers has given the Readyverse exclusive Web3 IP rights for not just Ready Player One IP, but for subsequent work by Ernest Klein. And it's already been revealed that some parts of the Star Wars IP is very likely included in the deal. Ready Player One is the perfect place to bring in all sorts of existing IP and brands and to not feel out of place. It is the metaverse after all, and the rumour mill is spinning into overdrive, and many have speculated on existing brands that may form part of the activation. Personally, I think Jurassic Park and Back to the Future are quite likely, and it was previously mentioned by Aaron McDonald that dinosaurs made up part of the original Third Kingdom. On top of this, a not so subtle hint was dropped by Shara and Aaron around Ready Player 2.
Emphasize tease. Don't say too much yet, but give us like a tangible overview of some of the stuff we're going to start rolling out very soon.
So that's kind of what our mission has been, is to build those building blocks for the open metaverse so that we can enable experience like we've talked about today. And like you see when you watch the movie, or you imagine when you read the books. And by the way, if you haven't read Ready Player 2, go do that. Shout out to that right now, because this partnership collaboration covers everything that's kind of being built around this franchise and everything else that Ernie's been creating as well. So you might get some tips or some alpha on what could be coming down the track.
Yeah, well, also first we can just say like why we want to bring big IP to the Readyverse, and that's just simply because people love engaging with things they love, right? And so pop culture, movies, TV shows, books, these are things people love, and so we want to bring them to the place where we want to bring people, right? Like we want to give people things to do with things they love. And so that's why we want to bring great IP to the Readyverse. And it's a great opportunity for movie studios and TV studios that own all these big properties or other big creators like Ernie, because we can expand their fandom into the Readyverse. We can expand the reach of their IP, right? We can offer them basically creative outlets to expand characters or stories that maybe they have an idea that isn't quite ready to be another movie or another TV show or another book, but they want to try it out. They want to start like feeling it out. We could go create content with them for the Readyverse.
It's so much easier to sit at your typewriter and like, wouldn't it be cool if, it worked like this? And that was what was so exciting, to meet you guys and to get to collaborate with you, because immediately I saw these are the people who are, they're actually going to do it for real. What I imagined. It's going to happen like 30 years sooner than I imagined. And these are the guys that are going to do it. And by some miracle, because of the other miracles that have already happened with the book and the movie, like I'm going to get to have play a role in that and in helping lay the groundwork for an open metaverse that everybody will get to be a part of. I think of it as a new country. We're like laying the groundwork for a new country that everyone will be a part of, that has no borders, physical or, with our imagination. It's just so exciting.
The Readyverse is not a new thing. It's been in the works for a couple of years now and already has 30 staff working on the project, including the team from Crucible. Crucible specialise in creating a seamless gaming development platform for devs to create their wildest dreams, both with Unity and Unreal Engine, but with Web3 Rails underpinning it. And with the launch of the Apple Vision Pro AR and VR headset just around the corner, there's a good chance that the metaverse hype will be back this year. So strap in. Are you ready? Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!